Of Us, Season 1, Episode 8, Title 1, We Are Need. Ladies and gentlemen, grinders and grindettes, I go by the name of the Black Abstract. If you're new to this channel, I urge you to like and subscribe. Listen, I've been trying to just wait till the whole series wraps. That's when I wanted to do the review for this, but I couldn't, man. This is one of the episodes I was looking forward to. Now, if you don't know, which I'm probably sure you don't, because I haven't done any videos on the Last of Us, I didn't know about this show until a bunch of my favorite YouTubers were talking about it, and I saw that Pedro Pascal was in it, and I like Pedro from Narcos, The Mandalorian, obviously he's in, and then this, the guy's got 2 shows on TV right now. Same thing with Jonathan Majors, got 2 big movies in the theaters. Like, people are just, I like the fact that great actors are acting. But anyway, so I knew he was in there, and I was all in. I had no idea this show was based off a video game at all. I play video games from time to time. I don't consider myself a huge gamer. I actually got a PS5 maybe almost a year ago, and I've actually been slowly but surely getting into gaming and enjoying it, getting back into it. So with that being said, when I found out that this was actually based off a video game, I was like, you know what? Let me just buy the game and play it. I actually saw something on Twitter where they had the episode where they had the African American gentleman. What was his name? Henry. And they did a side-by-side on Twitter of the TV show and the game. And I said, that's it. I'm going on to the PlayStation store and I'm buying this game. And so far, I've been playing it. The way I've been playing it, I've been right where the TV show is. So I'm like, oh, that's that part, and this is that part. And I'm like, yo, this is just like, I will say, this is probably the best game to TV show adaptation we've ever saw. It's so spot on. Marvel, take notes. It's so spot on. I was like, wow. I actually beat the first game. I actually beat The Last of Us Part 1, and I moved to Part 2, and I'm so heartbroken. Now, I won't say why, no spoilers, just in case you haven't played the game and you just only watching the TV show. So, moving forward, this will contain spoilers. If you don't know, watch the episode first or play the game, whatever you want to do. Because this is one of the episodes, like I said, I was looking forward to, because I literally last week just played it in the game. So this is so fresh and new to me. I wanted to see if they did this justice. And man, I gotta say, for the most part, I think they did. Obviously, due to time constraints, they couldn't put everything in there. There's a big action scene where Ellie, after she meets Dave and sends Troy Baker's character, who actually voices the voice of Joel in the game, but plays another character, David's right-hand man in this, I thought was pretty, kind of like an Easter egg or wink to us. But anyway, aside from that, there's a scene after they send him to get the medicine and they're waiting. They get attacked at the lounge by a bunch of clickers. And, they kind of got to work together to get out of it. They completely took that scene out of it. Also, when Ellie finds the deer, she actually takes the horse with her. They left that out. They changed that part as well. It was a bunch of things. When Joel goes to get Ellie, he gets into a gunfight with a bunch of armed guys that's at the reservation or the resort they're at. That doesn't happen. And, I was kind of like, how was he able to just kind of walk in there without anything happening? Unless they didn't show that and it happened off screen. Also, when him healing so fast, it was kind of like, all right, I know it's TV. So it was a bunch of things they had to leave out due to time restraints. Also, when Ellie in the game, Ellie has to stab David 3 times before the big scene happened, and Joel actually comes into the restaurant and saves her versus her walking outside. When he calls her baby girl. So, but small minor Easter eggs, like I said, due to time constraints, and I think just to make it more believable. Because if a bunch of clickers popped up out of nowhere, it was like, yo, how didn't they see the clickers prior to that? So I just think just they're trying to make it more realistic. So I get it. So David, I was wondering how they were going to do David, if he was going to be similar, exactly like the gang version. He wasn't. He was somewhat look wise was definitely there, but in terms of the creepiness, he was creepy in a pervy type of way. He was creepy in a cult leader type of way. The video game is kind of like he's portraying. He looks creepy. He sounds creepy, but he's portraying himself to be a nice guy. But you know he's really not. We later on find out that these group are actually cannibals. Yes, just like in The Walking Dead. You remember they came across that cannibal factory? It's the same thing here. These are actually people who eat people because that's the last resort they got to go to. Only a few people know about it. Not everybody knows about this. So it's kind of weird. You know, the girl asks what it is. What's this? Oh, it's venison. No, that was part of the 3 guys you got hanging up in the old shed over there that Joe sees when he walks in. So yes, they are cannibals. So Ellie winds up shooting this deer. When she goes to get the deer and retrieve it because it's bleeding out and it's dead, she shouldn't even want this deer, actually, because, listen, if you hit the deer in its vital organs and it doesn't drop immediately, all that fucking adrenaline is going through the meat, and it makes the meat tough and gamey. So you honestly, in the real world, don't want that kind of deer or buck. You just kind of want, you want it to drop immediately. But listen, this is the end of the world. You got to take what the hell you can get. Beggars can't be choosers. It's better than eating people. So we see that as she's going to get this deer, she gets met by Dave and his right-hand man, Troy Baker. And I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I'm tired. It might be Troy. I think it's Troy Baker. It could be something else. Troy Barker. I'm not sure. But anyway, so as we see their meeting, she gets the drop on them. They're forced to put their guns down, back up. He tries to talk her into joining them and, explain some of the benefits of things that they have. And she mentions medicine. He decides to go get it, or tells one of his men to go get it for her. And as they're waiting, they're kind of bonding. The man comes back, actually has the drop on Ellie. She turns the pistol on him. He gives her the medicine per instruction by David, but also leaves the deer, and she just hightails out of there. She goes back to Joe and injects this penicillin directly into his wound. I don't know if you could do it like that, but hey, it's probably something I would have did too. It just seems like the right thing to do. We also see her monitoring more shots. We also see at the beginning that they had barely no food. They're actually sharing like the last piece of jerky between the two of them, and you can tell she really cares about Joe. He's just out of it though. The infection is running through his body, and he's just wounded. He has to heal and recover by getting rest. The guys actually wind up coming to the settlement, LECs, because she's got to feed the horse too. So she's scraping up ice or snow and, having the horse eat that just to stay hydrated so he can have something to eat. And then she sees some birds move. She peeps and see that David and some guys are coming. They actually wanted to find her. They kill a horse, and in true cannibal fashion, they decide to eat the horse. They drag the horse back to the settlement, and it's all crazy. Prior to this, we do see David is somewhat like a preacher or authority figure, and we learned that there's a little girl in there crying. And when I first realized she was crying, I'm like, well, what if they're making people like volunteer to be cannibalisms, or maybe it's a pecking or a lottery to where they pick certain people? That's what I'm thinking initially. But we do find out that the girl's dad was the man that Joel killed, and she's furious. She finds out that they got her, let her go, and she speaks out of turn, and David smacks the shit out of her and tells her to get up and, I'm your daddy now, and eat this food. Eat this human flesh that we're feeding you, and shut the fuck up. So he's running this thing just by iron fist, but also, instilling beliefs in him. They say the quickest way to lead people is to inject religion into a situation, and we see that's what he's doing. He's also reciting lines from the Titanic. There was all kinds of weird stuff going on. After that, they wind up finding Ellie. They got her in the cage. She winds up breaking Dave's finger. He puts her on the table with his right hand. They're about to chop her up because he gave her too many chances. But it was this one we learned that he's super creepy and pervy, and he has more. He actually has feelings for Ellie that are super inappropriate with his age difference and her age difference. And we learned that he's on that R. Kelly type time. And he goes to touch her hand. She breaks his finger just like in a video game. He slams her against the bars. And, you know, like I said, he threw her on the table to be sliced. She tells him she's infected. He sees it. He also has a bite on his hand. And things just go haywire between him and his buddy. She uses that distraction to take the hatchet or the cutter and slice the right-hand man, Troy, in the face. Actually the face and the neck. He winds up dying. David unloads her clip on his clip on her, shooting at her, but he doesn't have enough bullets. This is the restaurant scene that we see. In the meantime, we see that Joe has actually forced himself to get up because he hears somebody in the house. He winds up taking one of the men out. The other one, he actually knocks out, and both of them ties him up. One he has to a chair. He's torturing him to find where Ellie is. It winds up working. I thought this was great, just like the video game. Like I said, the only gripe is Joe is just damn near on his deathbed, and all of a sudden, he's back up doing what the hell he does. So it was TV though. Time, I get it. But those were the gripes I had. Aside from that, also, we see that he makes it to the place. Meanwhile, Ellie is in a straight up confrontation with this dude. She winds up throwing some wood, and it winds up catching fire. The curtain. This is the scene from the video game. As we know, the restaurant was on fire, and there was a little more to it. You couldn't run over the plates because that's how he could detect you from far away if you were running over to crack the glass from the plate. And like I said, you had to stab him 3 times for the mission, or for the confrontation to come to a head, where she actually winds up stabbing him in the face. But we see as his back is turned, she runs and stabs him. He drops the hatchet. He throws her down, and he's actually about to try to assault her. And like I said, this is how we know he's super creepy. And he's saying, "Hey man, I don't know if you know this, but I like when you fight, cause it's all for love," or something to that extent. And I said, yeah, he's about to die. And sure enough, just like the video game, Ellie went to town on this dude's face with this hatchet and just completely mutilated him. And I wasn't mad at it at all. He was about to do something to her that would have messed her up for the rest of her life. But ultimately, I think for the most part, it played up by the game. It felt a little rushed at times, I will say, but I get it. It was time restraints. They tried to slow it down as much as possible so it wouldn't feel rushed, and injected certain things like Ellie and David talking at the fire where he's telling her everything's about chance. So I get it. I do get it. So aside from that, I thought it was a dope episode. And, similar to the game. At the end, we see Joel comes and saves her, or actually he helps her at the same end. We can see that this fucks up her psyche because he has to actually tell her, like, yo, it's me to calm her down. And, stuff like that stuff like that gives PTSD, But I liked it. I thought it was good. Like I said, I just played the game, so all this is new to me. And I think so far they're doing a great job. And this is the best video game to TV adaptation that I've seen thus far in, any genre. But let me know what you guys think. Post your comments below. Gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, manscaped.com. Go there, into the promo code ABSTRACT, and you will get you something off your order, 20%. Until next time, peace, love, and prosperity. Y'all be good.